Big Liverpool updates today. Arne Slot drops a fresh Konate contract hint. New faces appear in training, and the Florian Wirtz truth is getting clearer. For all the latest LFC news, transfer updates, and inside training breakdowns, hit subscribe now and join the family here at Anfield Wire. Arne Slot gives fresh update on Ibrahima Konate contract talks. Ibrahima Konate's contract at Liverpool is due to expire at the end of the season, and Arne Slot was asked about the Frenchman's situation ahead of the FA Cup meeting with Brighton. Arne Slot confirmed that Liverpool remains in talks with Ibrahima Konate over a contract extension at Anfield. The French centre-back's current deal is due to expire at the end of the season, and the club is keen to avoid a repeat of the situation that saw Trent Alexander-Arnold leave the club last summer. Alexander-Arnold would have joined Real Madrid on a free transfer were it not for the scheduling of the Club World Cup, and Konate has also been linked with a move to the Spanish capital. Slot praised Konate for his form since the Reds head coach arrived at the club in 2024 as he provided the latest update on the French defender's Anfield future. "We are in talks with him, so that tells you what we want," Slot said. "It's clear we would like him to stay, but negotiations are ongoing, so let's see where that ends. We wouldn't be in negotiations if we didn't want him to stay. He had a lot of good games earlier in the season, but then he was also part of the reason why we conceded a goal. His general performances were good, but then a small mistake he made immediately led to a goal, and so he was judged differently. But he has had a very good partnership with Virgil since I've been here, and, just like Virgil, he has always been fit. Touch wood. These two are vital for us, not only because of the quality they have, but because of the lack of options we have behind." Meanwhile, Slot has dismissed concerns over Mohamed Salah's output in front of goal since he returned from the Africa Cup of Nations last month. The Egyptian, who has just 6 goals all season, hasn't registered in the Premier League since November 1st when Aston Villa were beaten 2-0. Slot added, "There could be multiple reasons for that. It could be the opponent is even more aware of his threat after such a great season last season, or having so many different right-backs behind him for the whole season has influenced that dynamic. I could come up with 5 or 6 more reasons. What I do see is that, in general, the team generates just as many chances as we did last season. The team has the most ball possession in the league. I also see us being able to bring our forwards, and not only MO, into very promising positions in many games. So it will be a combination of factors. Even last season MO had a period where he scored 7 in 4 games, I think, and then 5 or 6 games where he didn't score. So let's see where he is at the end of the season when it comes to goals and assists." Who is Klay Yuing? New face joins Liverpool training ahead of Brighton. Liverpool youngster Klay Yuing was promoted to first-team training on Friday ahead of the Reds' FA Cup game against Brighton. At Anfield on Saturday, there was a new player involved in Liverpool training on Friday, as Klay Ewing made the step up to train with the senior squad ahead of Saturday's FA Cup meeting with Brighton. Ewing, 19, has been a regular for the Reds' under-21 team after returning to the team at the end of October following more than 7 months out due to injury. The teenager signed his first professional contract with Liverpool last March, having joined the Reds from Barry at under-12 levels several years ago. Upon signing his first contract with Liverpool, Ewing wrote on social media, "A lot of sleepless nights and a whole lot of grinding. Was gone. Say it took forever. But this perfect timing." Ewing is a left-sided player who can either play as a left winger or as a left back. Shortly before Ewing's 2024-25 season was ended by injury last March, he made his debut for Liverpool's under-21s, earning praise from then U21's boss Barry Ludes. "He was excellent," Ludes said of Ewing. "He gave us a really nice balance. We didn't have Rio Ngumaha, who was away with England, but there were good signs with Clay and Trent Doherty down the left. If we can get these combinations to work, then hopefully we can have a good finish to the season." It is not clear whether Ewing will be involved in the gameday squad when Liverpool hosts Brighton on Saturday, although Liverpool boss Arne Slot did say during his pre-game press conference that he is always looking for openings to hand opportunities to young players. "I am always looking at the younger players," Slot said. "A few of them come closer and closer to first-team football. A few already had it, like Rio Ngumaha and Trey Nyoni, and games like this could be an option as well, but it is about finding the right balance." Slot suggested that the caliber of Liverpool's opponent makes it less likely that he will field a less experienced side. We play a very strong team with Brighton, and getting the right balance with who to play is something to think about, Slot added. Of course it gives us more questions. That it is Brighton. If we had a different opponent, then I maybe make other choices. Mikel Arteta's Eberechi Eze comments highlight obvious Florian Wirtz truth. Florian Wirtz is getting better and better for Liverpool and is making a mockery of suggestions that Eberechi Eze is a better player than the Germany international. Not many signings in Premier League history have come with the sort of expectations that were put on Florian Wirtz's shoulders upon his arrival from Bayer Leverkusen last year. Wirtz joined Liverpool for what, at the time, was a potentially Premier League record fee, and when a player joins a new club for so much money, they are usually not afforded much time to bed in. Wirtz started slowly, from a goals and assists standpoint. Anyway, having to wait until December to score his first goal and register his first assist for the Reds. The German's influence has grown and grown over the last couple of months, though, and he is now one of the team's most important attacking players. Contrastingly, Eberechi Eze, who was another big-name attacking signing in the Premier League last summer, has struggled to make an impact at Arsenal. When Eze scored a hat-trick in the North London derby last November, at which point Wirtz was without a top-flight goal contribution to his name, many observers were of the opinion that it was proof that the England international was clearly the better signing of the two. However, Eze has not scored or assisted a Premier League goal since that win over Spurs, and his start against Brentford on Thursday was his first of the year in the league. Eze may have to wait a while for his next top-flight start too, after he was taken off at halftime at the GTEC Stadium. After the game, Mikel Arteta defended the player, but there is no getting away from the fact that Eze's first season as an Arsenal player, on a personal level, is turning into a really disappointing one. I think he had moments, and it's not easy when you move to a new club, Arteta said. It's always like this, and when you play against a team that is like this and the ball is a lot of times not on the floor and you have to be constantly breaking the play and do that, especially for attacking and creative players, it's more difficult. Meanwhile, Wirtz produced another impressive performance on Wednesday as Liverpool registered a 1-0 victory over Sunderland, becoming the first team to win an away league game at the Stadium of Light this season. Virgil van Dijk scored the winning goal, but Slot said that Wirtz's performance merited a goal. Not for the first time he was really good, Slot said. But recently when he was really good he was also involved in goals and assists. I think today he was very close and maybe should have been on the scoreboard with the amount of quality he has. But it's good to see, not only him but also other players developing so well and playing another good game of football. Eze might have started off the season in the better form than Wirtz, but at peak form, there is no comparison between the two players, and that's starting to show. 5 things spotted in Liverpool training, including Alexander Isak boost and new defender. Liverpool's players made their final preparations for their FA Cup clash against Brighton on Friday, with a new face earning himself a call-up to Arne Slot's squad in training. Liverpool has been putting the final touches on its preparations ahead of its FA Cup date with Brighton on Saturday. The Reds host their Premier League rivals at Anfield in the 4th round, knowing that just 5 games could stand between them and a second piece of silverware under Arne Slot. The Liverpool boss will have to think carefully about his side this weekend, with injuries continuing to be a real issue, especially in defense, after Wataru Endo became the latest to be ruled out this week. A number of players will have been hoping to catch the head coach's eye as they took in their final training session on Friday. As usual, ahead of a game, cameras were present at the AXA training center to capture the Reds' final session before the weekend. Here's what we spotted. It'll still be a while before we see Alexander Isak back in action, but the striker looks to be well on the way to a full recovery. He was pictured at the Reds' training ground on Friday, kicking a ball for the first time since breaking his leg against Tottenham in December, which is a key milestone as he eyes his comeback. We're likely still some way off him joining in with the rest of his teammates in regular training. But, as long as there are no setbacks along the way, he will hopefully be on course to return before the end of the season. Ewing called up. There was a new face involved in senior training on Friday, with Klay Yuing called up to join in with Slot's squad. The 19-year-old signed his professional contract at the club last March and has made 7 appearances for the club's U21s in the Premier League 2 this season, as per Transfermarkt. He adds to the defensive options on offer to slot ahead of tomorrow's game. Although being a left back, he might be something of a surprise inclusion, given the Reds' lack of options at right back. Dominik Szoboszlai being back with his teammates is a welcome sight after his suspension for Wednesday's win at Sunderland. The Hungarian has perhaps been Liverpool's player of the season so far, and although the Reds won without him in midweek, there's no doubt about his importance to the side. He will be back in contention for tomorrow, although Slot will have to decide whether he wants to risk one of his key players, given that the Premier League and Champions League will surely be his side's priorities. Youngsters ready, although Slot has previously indicated he will be taking the FA Cup more seriously this season. Tomorrow's game might be an opportunity to blood some of the youngsters aiming to make a name for themselves. As well as the previously mentioned Ewing, Rio Ngumaha and Trey Nyoni were involved as usual in training on Friday, and they were joined by defender Amaranallo and winger Kieran Morrison. Ngumaha and Nyoni will certainly be in with a shout of starting against Brighton, with Slot surely eyeing up some changes as he looks to spare some of his bigger names a third game in 7 days. Ramsey staying patient. You have to feel for Calvin Ramsey at the moment. Even with neither of the usual recognized right-backs available, and another backup option ruled out this week, he still can't get his chance. If Slot is ever going to give him another opportunity this season, you'd imagine it would come in the FA Cup. Even if he doesn't start, he surely has to come into the Liverpool boss thinking from the bench just to lessen the burden on the likes of Szoboszlai and Joe Gomez. For the time being, he continues to be training with the first team, and hoping that his patience might pay off at some point soon. Liverpool give immediate response to Christian Pulisic transfer offer. Liverpool looks set to be active in the summer transfer market for new forwards, particularly as the future of Mohamed Salah continues to be in doubt. The Egyptian king, 33, is out of contract in 2027, but there is reason to believe that sporting director Richard Hughes would listen to offers at the end of this season. Earning £400,000 per week, Salah has been beneath his best this term, as the Reds struggle to regain the form that saw them claim the 2024-25 Premier League title. The club could therefore opt to cash in with Al Ittihad and Al Qadsiya of the Saudi Pro League set to contest Salah's signature. If and when Salah departs, talk will then turn to which forward can come to the club to replace him. Since moving to Serie A in 2023, the United States international has grown in stature, becoming one of the most consistent attackers in the league. He's got a contract which expires in 2027, with the club holding an option for another year. But there have been reports that the 27-year-old is disappointed that talks over a new deal have not yet commenced. According to a report in Team Talk, Pulisic's entourage have now reached out to Premier League clubs to gauge the level of interest in bringing him back to England. Premier League interest in Pulisic is growing, having joined Chelsea in 2019. Pulisic won the Champions League, among other honors, at Stamford Bridge, but was never seen at his consistent best in the top flight. But Liverpool are not put off being named as one of the teams in the report who have commenced talks with Pulisic's team over a summer deal. Tottenham are said to be leading the chase, with Arsenal and Manchester United also in the running. Premier League interest in the American star is not only real but growing by the week. The report reads, Pulisic's camp have now informed Milan they will gauge the market, and the response has been immediate. Intermediaries have also spoken with Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United, though at this stage the strongest and most proactive interest comes from Tottenham. Pulisic is a versatile attacker these days, capable of playing as a right-sided attacker, attacking midfielder, and even up top in a front two. He would surely swerve Spurs in favor of Liverpool if push came to shove. For now, we must remain patient and see how contract talks with Milan pan out.